Hello, welcome to I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. My name is Jeremy Zielik. I'm the host and, oh my god, Alton Brown of the group. Joining me this week, as always, is...
your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
Ian Davis, the Gary Paulson of the show.
And with the tall boy, Evan Aubrey.
Whoa. Wow, why haven't we made that joke before? What flavor is that of LaCroix?
It's the Mure Pepino, which is the blackberry cucumber mixed one.
Interesting.
I never thought about this before in my life, but that can crack sounded like a sneeze.
Oh,
did it? It sounded like
Bless you.
hyper pressurized, like I was in an airplane or something.
Yeah. Evan, are you commonly opening carbonated cans on airplanes and they just like explode?
Oof.
No, but it particularly sounded like when you flush the airplane bathroom.
Oh, I see. Okay.
To me, it personally, I was like, oh.
Is that like an ASMR noise for you? The airplane?
No,
toilet
God,
flushing?
it scares the hell out of me, even though I know it's coming every time. Yeah. I legit feel like I'm going to get sucked out with it.
I feel like it's kind of the opposite of well, I don't know. I mean, ASMR doesn't really mean much. I feel like it implies a certain thing casually, but like it actually doesn't mean, something very specific. But kind of the opposite of the like soothing audio is like jump scare noises in real life. I feel like it's like that. It's like when you're opening up the Pillsbury like cinnamon roll,
God.
And it
and
explodes.
it pops.
Oh,
You're like,
yes.
whoa.
Oh, that's a good one. Can we just have 10 hours jump scare?
Guys,
10 hours jump
I gotta
scare.
go to
But jump scare of ordinary things.
I gotta go to sleep
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah, just every day.
And I'm not gonna be able to sleep thinking about the Pillsbury. I can't pop it off.
It's too scary.
Ugh.
Okay, so classic, you're watching a movie, and this is all the way back to like 30s, when sound was introduced to film. One of the classic jump scares is a cat. Would you consider a cat in real life, like if you walked into a room and it went, meow, would you consider that a jump scare?
Sometimes.
I mean, Ben, that probably happens to you on a daily basis.
Yeah, sometimes Millie wakes me up that way, and it is a little bit like, oh, So I would say that it can be, depending on the context. And I feel like that's an oldie but a goodie. You can always throw some creepy music leading up to like some anticipation. It's just a cat like running around in the garbage, and you're just like, oh,
and the person's like a few, and then they turn around. Oh, there's the monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's some good shit right there. Yeah.
So at your home, it's like you're working in the lab late one night, and it's like, oh, time to get something from the fridge, and it's kind of like Scooby-Doo-ish, and you're like, going through your apartment, you for some reason didn't turn the lights on, and you open your fridge, and your cat goes wow, and you're like, whoa. And you're like, phew, I'm glad that wasn't something scary, and you like close the fridge, and behind the closed fridge is like a
Another fridge.
Yeah.
Which is the spookiest thing of all.
Yes,
an empty fridge.
A mummy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, a mummy.
I did have an experience like that once where we had, I think it was for Asia's birthday, my parents got like a delivery of something that had a balloon on it, happy birthday balloon, or was it, there was some delivery that was made for her birthday that had like a smiley face balloon, and it just kind of floated around in our apartment for a while. And sometimes the lights would be like dim enough where you couldn't see it, but there would be like kind of an outline of like a person and a face, like in the darkness. And there was a few times when that was just sort of like floating around that I was like, whoa, oh damn, you really got me. It's crazy what the mind can play tricks on you.
Yeah.
I would say
When I was a small child, I once got freaked out by seeing faces in like the spatter paint of the wall, and I woke up and I was like, oh, there's a skeleton on the wall, but it was just my mind playing tricks on me as a 6-year-old.
I get jump scared at least once a month at work because I'll be chatting with like a student at the end of class, and then another kid has like walked up to talk to me, but they're like right behind me, like no personal space, just there. And I like turn and I see them.
They've been waiting there for minutes.
Oh my God, I jump out of my skin every time. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like the violin.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Well, Evan, first of all, how is your LaCroix flavor? I don't know if we've talked about this one before.
It's good. It's very subtle. I mean, not that all LaCroix is not subtle, but this particularly so. For being like a dual flavor, it's like, all right.
Ben, I noticed you had a beverage that it looked like a LaCroix, but I'm guessing it's not.
The Malone. Oh,
no.
It's my favorite. One of my favorite obsessions lately is this Mela watermelon juice. And actually, the reason why I'm so obsessed with it recently is that it's no longer only available in like singles at the liquor store. They've started selling them in like packs of 4 at Target.
Nice.
And so it's on for sure.
Is this the OG flavor, or is it mixed with anything?
This one's passion fruit.
Excellent.
It's quite delicious.
Okay, I have a Santa Fe Brewing Company Social Hour Social Experiment, which is the cherry flavored
I'd expect nothing less
of this beer, which is pretty good.
And
thumbs up.
And Ian has some
what unmarked drink are you?
Yeah, yellow liquid.
It's Piss Boys.
It's Piss Boys.
Man, Piss Boy returns.
No, it's. Are you guys familiar with Noon?
Oh, I love me a Noon.
Noon.
I'm not familiar with Noon. Please divulge
It's
secrets.
an effervescent, restorative electrolyte tablet that you drop in your water.
Oh, okay.
Think like Alka-Seltzer Gatorade.
Does it taste like Gatorade or Alka-Seltzer?
It tastes like a less powerful emergency, maybe.
Okay, that makes sense. How salty is it?
Not well. Now that you just said that, I've never thought about it before. A little salty.
I mean, that's literally the most important part of Gatorade is that it has salt and
The
potassium.
electrolytes.
Yes.
It's good. They're different. I've had the strawberry lemonade.
Okay,
that's
a good one.
This is lemon lime, which doesn't fuck
Classic.
as hard, but I got to get through it. But I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I didn't realize, like, kids just suck the electrolytes right out of you. So when I
for some reason I thought you were saying that they suck the electrolytes right out of the Noon. Like that is a specific like thing,
What?
like a
They're
trend.
just sucking
I
on
have thought
Noon.
about, like, what if I just put this tablet directly in my mouth, since it is like an Alka-Seltzer?
bypass the water
Yeah, if
part.
I swallowed it fast enough, would it just?
Yeah. It does the exact same thing, right? You know.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Well, I guess theoretically it does. I actually have no idea. Maybe it needs to like solulate in water to become, to give you its electrolyting boosting powers.
I've got enough liquids sloshing around in there. I think I can take it.
fucking take it, baby. Well, you know what? I'm gonna level with you guys. I was busy this weekend, and I completely forgot to create a funny bit to start the episode.
Sure.
Stop the show.
Like,
stop the show.
It's pre-show too.
because last week I was talking about like my trip. I don't want to do that again. That's like rude, right? And then already the I choose you drinking game of each every time I bring up my travels to a foreign country, you consume part of your beverage has left some of our listeners incapacitated, and I feel like that might be slightly inappropriate. So I will say this. Okay, how about this? Santa Fe, it's a town on the rise. It's up and up. Everything's coming up the Fe. Exciting new development in town. We have a Barnes and Nobles in Santa Fe now.
Why?
So, what do you mean why? I want to go to a bookstore, Evan, and peruse the latest titles that might interest me.
Yeah, I want to go to a corporate bookstore.
Well, it has more books than other bookstores. I don't know what to tell you.
Jeremy, that's the funniest fucking opener I've ever heard on this show. We fucking did it, boys.
So, okay, something that's actually funny because I talked with Jeremy. I talked with Jeremy yesterday, and this came up, and it was in a group chat of other people who grew up in Santa Fe, and everyone was elated to hear that there was a Barnes and Noble. So that's kind of interesting. The disconnect on that one, but
Well,
the other
Jeremy,
thing
where
is
did they
that
open up? I'm just curious.
Where
is it?
They took over the Bed Bath & Beyond.
Okay, all right.
It's now Barn, Noble, and Beyond. Let me tell you. One, the store's pretty nice. It's well arranged. It looks nice. They have a good selection of titles, and it has nice air conditioning. It was quite hot this weekend, so it's good to.
That's what'll get people through the doors.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry, Ben. I didn't mean to cut you off earlier.
The thing that was funny when Jeremy described this was that he was surprised that he recognized someone already at the Barnes and Noble. Like that was going to be like it was just going to be all strangers at the Santa Fe Barnes and Noble. Like, I mean,
well, look, I recognize a singular person. I went at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. I wasn't expecting to be like greeted, but I walked in and a friend of mine was like, "I knew you would fucking be here." As I stepped into the doors of the Barnes and Noble,
and wouldn't you expect?
Look, I'm a man. I'm a creature of habit. There's a new bookstore in town. I got to look at it. Now, are the books I'm looking at similar to the books in the other bookstores? Yes. Are there stacks and stacks of those books that you see on TikTok that are actually kind of bad, but they're really successful anyway? Also, yes. Did I complain about them loudly to my friend? Count that. Check yes. And I think
yes.
I think that describes kind of the weekend that I had. Yes.
Is there like a Starbucks or some bullshit inside?
Yes, there is a
Best.
Starbucks in there. Seattle's Best was Borders. That was their thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that exists outside of Borders. I actually have no idea. And I don't like Starbucks coffee. I think it's prepared poorly.
Pretty mid.
So it's not great. So I mean it's there. So they have nice chairs that you can sit in and perhaps read a selection and maybe get kicked out. Look, when I was a child and I went to the Borders, I would cozy up with a magazine, read the whole thing, and then not buy it, which I sure they love.
And Jeremy, guess what? Out of business.
That's why they closed. Yeah,
that's why they
that was the fucking
wasn't the recession.
Sandwich of Borders.
Yes,
you son of a bitch.
Yes,
Jeremy. Little do you know that Barnes and Noble now has your picture posted up by the register. Don't let this kid fucking read any books in here.
Yeah,
but it's like
me reading
scaled up, like AI aged up to fit Jeremy.
Yes,
but it was like Jeremy as a kid, but they look exactly the same.
Yes, it's truly look. I'm not. And I get you're like, Jeremy's gone fucking corporate. He went to the Barnes and Noble instead of the local indie bookstore, to purchase a title. Now, I will say this: I didn't buy anything. So
fuck you, Barnes and Noble. You're not gonna get Jeremy's cold hard cash.
Well, look, I probably would have bought something, but look, here's the thing: I have too many books. I'm already reading a book. I have books that I will never read at home. I don't need to buy another book right now. So it was more of like, it's, this Barnes & Noble's opening. I want to take a look I want to look at the books and be like, interesting. And then think about it later, and perhaps it will maybe guide selections for book club or something like that in the future to see what's hip now.
I'm gonna call Jeremy out on his bullshit because as he's giving that sweet little soliloquy, he's probably got like 5 books in his Amazon cart that he's like checking out right now.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy didn't buy a book because he walked in and his friend was like, "You fucking cuck. Knew you would be here shopping for a book." And you're like, "What? I would never.
I can't show."
Yeah.
Well, hey, but look at me. Look at my amazing influencer abilities. I recommended a book for him to purchase, and he bought it. Like he got cucked on the other end of it.
Cucked on books.
Yeah, cucked on books. You've heard of hooked on phonics. Now get cucked on books.
Okay. Final question about the Santa Fe Barnes and Noble, which I'm sure listeners around the world, because our audience is global, are thrilled
care deeply
to be hearing about. Does it have that new bookstore smell? And I think you all know what I'm talking about when I say that.
Are you asking, does it do the statistically and scientifically proven increase your need to shit when you walk inside?
Yeah. Does it have that smell, as Leonard Skinner would say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a thing? Does the book glue make you want to shit or something?
I don't know. I actually don't know what it is, but large quantities of books will loosen your bowels. This has been statistically
It's all the
proven.
fiber in the books.
Yes, no, I like
Calling your name.
a Japanese researcher did it, and it's like out of like stores that sell a variety of materials, the average person who goes into a bookstore for something like 30 minutes, they are more likely to use a bathroom than any other kind of like store.
Is it tied to the smell, or is that just like a conspiracy?
That's what they. I don't think it's the smell. I think it might just be.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe people read when they take a shit a lot, so they're like, "Oh, this reminds me of shitting," so I need to use it. I also think it might also be. This is something we've talked about before. A lot of bookstores do have coffee shops associated with them, and coffee, is a diuretic, or caffeine's a diuretic. So maybe it's just this like kind of loop-de-loop association that is like you could walk into a bookstore and you're like, "Man, I kind of need the bathroom."
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy,
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
how are the bathrooms at Barnes & Noble?
They're really nice.
Did you test the pipes?
They're so clean. They've only been used for like 2 days.
They should install like bidets.
Oh, fuck.
Barnes and bidets and Noble.
Bidets and Noble. All I remember is that we used to have a Borders in town that the bathrooms were like down this spooky hallway that had like
I remember that
stuff hidden in it. And I always felt like, man, I could like Basil E. Frankweiler myself into this like stacks of like weird like poster boards for like the Da Vinci Code or whatever. And then once the Borders is closed, I can live here. I can go to the CDs and listen to as many samples as I want.
Oh man, that was some good shit. I feel like I understand why that doesn't make any sense anymore as an investment for a business, but it's so cool. It was amazing, like having those listening stations with like the headphones, and you could like listen to like basically every track if you wanted to of a respective
those nice sweaty used headphones.
Yeah,
love it.
Well,
yeah.
Congrats, Jeremy. We managed to talk about this for like 8 minutes.
10 minutes.
Just when the listeners thought we didn't have any bits.
Look, it's something that happened to me. That's enough, right? That's what all podcasts are really about, is like, I was walking down the street this weekend and I saw a dog and it was wearing a bow tie.
Listener, are you not entertained by us?
Just how walking into a bookstore will give you the shits.
Yes.
Listening to us talk about a bookstore will give you the bits.
Yes. Did you know when you put on your headphones and listen to an episode of I Choose You, the increase of laughter is 75%?
And then you shit yourself.
Yes, because you're laughing so hard. We used to use the classic car crash metric, which is that I'm laughing so hard I'd wreck my car if I was listening to it on the highway kind of situation. I think we could translate that to a bookstore setting where it's like you're listening while you're browsing and you're laughing so hard that you're getting looks. You're like, what's so fucking funny? What are you looking at? You're reading like a Dave Barry book over there, and it's no, I'm listening to I Choose You. Anyway, let's move on to the meat of the show. Each week here on I Choose You, we randomly select a Pokemon to cook and eat. This week's Pokemon is Kleavor. We then take this Pokemon and prepare it in a myriad of delightful recipes that we share with one another, and then vote in a very democratic manner on the most successful, delicious, and delightful recipe. This, I already said Kleavor is the Pokemon this week. Ian won last week, right?
I believe it was Ben.
I think
Ben?
I won.
Yeah, I think it was Ben.
Yeah. So, Ben, why don't you take us to cleave us right in twain and tell us what your recipe is this week.
I will. I was trying to think of some sort of pun with like leave, like it's time to, get like cleave, or I don't know, whatever. It's Kleavor.
Cleave it to Ben.
Cleave it to, yeah, exactly.
Cleave it to Beavor.
Damn.
That's what's hip with the kids these days.
Yeah, we found something. Okay, so I was looking at we're back to our favorite thing of all time, which is eating bugs and eating rocks. And
love it.
Eating rocky bugs. And I was struggling to think of what to do. And then I was looking at the cleaving part of the Kleavor. The cleaver of the Kleavor, if you will.
Yeah.
And it made me think of pizzas.
Oh.
In a couple different contexts.
Yeah. You get those like big like pizza half moon things that you can cut them with. I could see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a little dough cutter thing, like and I feel like you could use the cleaver for that. And I feel like it's also pretty flat that you could use the other one as like a pizza stone and like
nice.
Put it, like keep it in the oven and then pull it out, and it's got like its own built-in handle. So on that topic, I was like, okay, pizza is the place to be. Kleavor is getting turned into a pizza. Surely someone out there has tried to put some bugs on a pizza. And that just seems like you could make that happen pretty easily. Like you could fry up some little crickets and put it on a pizza. I'd eat it probably no problem. It would probably go down real easy.
Would you fry the crickets before putting it on the pizza, or just be like cricket time and then slam them on your pizza?
I just feel like it could be like any additional topping. You know what I mean? Like pizza is just so versatile that you could have it, on the little like assembly line with everything else, all your other weird toppings, and it's just like done bug, of some sort. So anyway, I started typing bug pizza recipes, and I found something, and then I thought it was like maybe a mistranslated website or something.
We love that.
It's good.
But I actually don't think that's the case. So, spoilers, but like basically the recipe that I found is quote unquote bug fermented chili and capers pizza.
Ooh, interesting.
And I'll just read you the recipe on the it says on the website, and then I'll tell you what it actually looks like and is. So this requires some pre-made dough, which you can make yourself. I'm actually a really big fan of the Trader Joe's garlic and herbs pre-made dough.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah,
pretty legit,
man.
So I would do that. Keep it kind of low key. You're gonna have some tomatoes, some salt, some capers, some mozzarella, some fermented chili sauce, some lemon, garlic, and parsley for additional toppings at the end, and 2 green bugs is how this recipe phrases the last
green bugs
ingredient.
of your choosing.
Capital green, capital B bugs, green bugs. And it's a pretty simple recipe. They just say stretch out pizza dough onto a lightly floured pizza paddle. In this case, you're going to use your Kleavor pizza paddle. You're going to top it with tomatoes, pinch of salt, the quote-unquote finely sliced bug tail meat. Then finely chop baby capers, add some low moisture mozzarella and the chili sauce. You're going to cook it, and then it says to top with the parsley, garlic, and lemon, and then it uses this emoji with like the Italian hands, and then pizza.
Yes.
Excellent.
Mia.
So
do you ever think Kleavor is regretful that he can't go like Italian hands because his hands are axes?
It's like it said somewhere in the Pokedex entry that its wings are like a vestigial organ because it can't fly or something. Maybe it's kind of like that because Scyther can go.
Yeah, I think they both can fly.
They can both fly. I was thinking about Italian hands.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And whether
Italian hands.
But can Italians fly? That's the real question.
Anyway, so I was like, okay, so what bug are they talking about? Like, what? How does this make any sense? Bug is lobster.
Yes.
Yes.
And at first I was like, was this like a mistranslation of lobster? Like, I don't know, like it wasn't in English and it got mistranslated as bug. But I went to the guy's like Instagram page where he makes it, and everyone in the comments is like, we love bug, and like no one's saying anything about it. So
they're all in on it.
They're all in on it, or it's an Australian thing.
Could be. Australian friends, please weigh in. Oceanic friends.
Are lobsters
bugs
called bugs? Not just are they bugs.
We all know that shrimps is bugs, but
Right.
are lobster bugs?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my Kleavor bug, capers, and fermented chili pizza.
I've never had like lobsters on a pizza. Do you think that would work? Has anyone had like lobster or crab on a pizza?
I have before.
Okay.
It's pretty good. I mean, you like chop it up, small enough. It's not like lobster tail.
No, you don't just
slice.
order a pizza and it comes out with a whole lobster just
Yeah.
on top kind of situation.
Yeah.
It would if you played RuneScape, probably. That would be the icon.
So Ben, have you ever thought about maybe like Kleavor's hands could also be like pizza stones, where it's like he could like use those to bake them in the oven because they're pretty like flat. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to
That
ask you
is what
to
they said.
hit the rewind
I
30-second button, Jeremy, so you can
I
catch
think
up.
I
'Cause
would.
That is what I said.
I'm so sorry. I think I just got in my mind that you're like, yeah, you cut your dough with them, and I was like, yeah, cutting, and that's just what
You can
stuck
do
in my
both.
mind.
You can do both.
Yes. So the availability is there, is what you're saying.
Yes, and I do think that the way that the Kleavor's stone heats the pizza is particularly like it does a really good job of it. Like it gets
It's
a
very
nice
even.
Thermodynamic
crust on
transfer
the
Yes.
is good. Yeah.
Yes, it's very warm. It's very even. It's very good.
Yeah, it's real good.
It's real good.
And I'm thinking, in place of quote unquote bug, I think we can use a what's that freaking guy, the crawdont, as our lobster substitute for this pizza. And yeah, small little pieces, put it all together. It's like kind of it's like a mozzarella-y, like creamy. The lobster adds like a richness to it. Yeah, it's a nice kind of fancy but a little mellow do-it-yourself pizza. Yeah.
Interesting.
Ian.
Excellent. Yes, Ian.
Would you consider chopping up some steak on there and having like a surf and turf
Whoa.
Oh,
pie?
Surf and turf. See,
Yeah.
this is... I like the concept, but I feel like the crust that I am imagining for this is like too weak to support
The structural integrity.
both
Well,
environments.
and Ben, Ian's all about food with structural integrity. So,
Yeah.
are you saying that your thin crust pizza is lacking that?
I wasn't anticipating another ecosystem, I was just looking at the surf.
But due to climate change, the turf has entered the surf ecosystem on my pizza.
Yes, and this thin crust cannot handle. But
Yes.
perhaps a deep dish would.
Don't you wish like we have like HM surf? We also need HM turf.
Is this like? Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the
In Pokemon.
The moves.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Pokemon. For some reason, when you said HM surf, I was like a boat, like Her Majesty's Sailing Ship.
That
That's what I was
If we bought a
thinking
boat,
of.
that is what we'd have to call it. The HM surf.
The surf
that's
and
pretty
turf.
good.
Yeah, excellent. God. Okay, look, new I Choose You goal. GoFundMe page. Get us a boat.
Yeah.
Get us a boat.
Get us a boat, and they'll record every episode in international waters where laws don't apply.
Oh,
And,
yeah. And you know what that means.
Podcast without borders.
Yes, there you go. We're gonna put any music we want in this shit, and they can't stop us.
They can't stop
Pirate
us. International
radio.
waters.
Yes. What are you gonna do? Stop me? I don't think so. Well, Ian, take us now to your international waters. Ian, what's your recipe this week?
So he's got axe hands, right? Like that's the bit.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Yeah.
bit was the Barnes and Noble. His bit is the hands that are
Axe
axes. Yeah. And so I thought like, okay, axes, throwing axes, recipe that you can just throw together.
Okay.
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 And keep in mind, like, I'm at a low point in my life right now. My dinner tonight, 3 cups of rice and a whole can of refried beans.
Okay.
I mean, that's not that bad.
So when you say
Okay.
throw together, you mean
Yeah, you.
lightly toss together.
Hey, contestants in Survivor would kill for that meal.
Yes, they would.
I don't think anyone has died in Survivor yet. Don't fact check me on that.
That would be a really great way to get your kid to eat vegetables. Is like, man, someone on a contestant on a reality TV show would love to eat this right now.
That's yep. When my kid isn't finishing that last bite on their plate, I'm like, hey, there are people on Survivor who would love to have this.
It would kill for them.
So I was looking for like recipes you can just quote throw together.
Sure.
And took me to a BuzzFeed article for top lazy girl summer meals. So we are making some Hatchet green chili mac and cheese.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
There we
Okay.
go.
You got your easy mac, but maybe you want to like it's zhuzhed up a little bit. I'm imagining. I mean, how many ways to eat a bug? Let me count the ways. Flour,
10 million.
most of them.
Yes.
Most of the ways. Just grind it up into a powdery dust.
Uh-huh.
So they become the mac.
Exactly. It's like you're like making like a nice like a roux. You know what I mean? That's like
Okay.
you got your the nudes, you got the roots, you got the cheese, the green chili, hatch green chili, of course.
Excellent.
Maybe that recipe had like bell pepper. I feel like I don't know that you need it when you got the green chili chunks in there.
That just seems like, if I'm gonna critique this BuzzFeed recipe,
please.
That's a little more effort than I can imagine, quote unquote, throwing together.
Yeah.
Lazy girls love cutting bell pepper, apparently.
Yes.
I'm with you. Because
I don't know why.
I already had to open the box, pour it into the pot, add the water, boil the water. Like, too many steps at this point. I agree.
And the bell pepper is like the pumpkin of preparing like vegetable prep. Like there's some stuff you got to
scoop out the seeds.
You can't just like go at it, you know.
It's true. You can't just go at it.
I mean, would the pumpkin not be the pumpkin of vegetable prep, or would you consider it more of a fruit?
Well, I guess. Okay. Well, now we're losing the thread here on a lot of things, but
It's effort.
I would consider bell peppers to be more quote unquote everyday usage than a pumpkin would be. So
all right, that's fine. I'll accept that. Ian, continue.
The Kleavor flour, not only is it like thickening up, like you're getting like that real ooey gooey, but you're also getting all the protein you need for the day. Like after working out really hard, you get home, you gotta throw something together, and you're like, God, I gotta keep these gains. Eat the mac and cheese.
just throw it together.
Just toss it together.
Okay.
Wouldn't you believe I ate mac and cheese for dinner tonight?
What?
Nice.
I did.
Do you think it would have been better with green chili?
It honestly would have been.
You know, that's my most toxic New Mexican trait, is that when I go someplace and they're like, here's your like egg dish, I'm like, this would have been better with green chili. Like they give me a fucking omelet and I'm like, could have kicked it up a notch with some green chili. And it's like, it's always the case. It's never not the case that if
It's
you
like- Yeah, it's like the umami of the Southwest.
yes.
Like,
The mommy of the Southwest.
Mommy of the Southwest, green chili, yes. When I see those roasters out, I'm like, mommy.
Mommy is the sixth taste or whatever.
Yes.
The sixth flavor.
Yeah. All right. Evan, what is your recipe this week?
well, I'm getting to the bug meat here. We like, yes, bugs are mainly goo, but I'm presupposing this Pokemon is so. I mean, I guess it's not that jacked, but I guess in its like thorax region, I was just imagining like beef. Like it's a little caked.
It's
you know?
not jacked, but it is ripped, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's more than goo going on in there.
Oh yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah.
And what I was thinking we could do with this goo is make a beefy 5-layer Kleavorito.
Yeah, baby.
Oh no.
Yeah, baby. Take me there.
Well, and the 5 layers, I don't have to explain them to you, but I will on this show because we skipped too many steps, you know. Well, obviously your bug meat is is your beef, your nicely seasoned beef.
Okay.
You've got beans. You've got sour cream. You've got cheese. You've got. I actually don't know what the 5th layer is.
The secret 5th layer.
It's a secret 5th layer.
Honestly, it's probably. Oh no, I think it's more cheese because it's the quesadilla thing. Because
That's
I don't know.
a little bit of a.
It's a little bit of a stretch.
No. Hey, Ben.
No one wants the 4-layer cheesy burrito.
No, don't
Jesus
degrade
fucking
another
Christ.
layer of cheese. The 5th layer of cheese is very important.
And you know what? Reading the description on Taco Bell for the beefy 5-layer Kleavorito, it says in all caps, "No room for lettuce." You're goddamn right.
You wouldn't want
So-
that in your. Okay.
Sorry, lettuce. RSVP is closed.
Yeah.
But anyway, the other reason why I thought a Taco Bell item would be so Taco Belldom item would be so appropriate for this episode, in particular because we were talking about books making you shit yourself when you go in, and Kleavor specifically. There was a thing in the flavor text in its biology that says Kleavor's nature is described as being rude, crude, and violent, much like me after eating Taco Bell on the insides.
Rude, crude, and violent.
I like that what you're presupposing is that Taco Bell is kind of like the anti-Snickers ad where, like in a Snickers ad, you're like Robert De Niro and you're mean and you eat your Snickers and then you're nice. But then you eat some Taco Bell and then your stomach starts rumbling and you're like, oh, it's time to start fighting a kangaroo or whatever.
It's like that episode of Ed, Ed, and Eddie where Ed gets a rock in his shoe and he's like becomes the meanest person.
Yes.
It's just me having to take a shit.
Yeah.
So anyway, as much of a turnoff as that might sound, the beefy 5-layer Kleavorito is actually quite delicious.
Okay.
That's all I have. Vote for me. 2024.
I will say that I think a burrito is another venue for eating bugs that I could definitely see myself getting to because like you stick bugs in one of those 5 layers in a burrito.
Who would know?
I wouldn't even notice.
Who would know?
All the other 5 layers are helping out.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like quesadilla'd like in the middle there, like it's like kind of siphoned off from the rest of the burrito. You just swallow it down and not even touch the bug.
Yeah.
Sorry, lettuce. These bugs RSVP'd all the sticks.
There's no fucking room for you. You didn't make a reservation, lettuce.
Yeah, I really don't appreciate the passive-aggressive nature towards lettuce, which did nothing to upset Taco Bell or the Kleavorito.
And like Taco Bell includes lettuce in their other items. Granted, it's like pretty mid lettuce, but like I don't know.
It's something.
Look, lettuce at a Taco Bell restaurant is kind of just like it's like texture. You're not actually getting any nutritional value from it. It just adds a bit of crunch that didn't exist before.
It's refreshing. It's the relief, like the sweet. When you're knee deep,
sweet relief of lettuce.
Knee deep in the cheese and the ground beef and the tortilla.
The cheesy gordita crunch. It's going so deep.
You get like a nice bite of like refreshing, cool. It's like being in like a desert and you find that pool of water and you're just
the oasis.
So
I
what
mean,
you're
like,
telling
yes,
me is
hypothetically,
that eating Taco Bell is being like in a desert.
in the best way possible. It's not.
Okay, it's like a cool desert.
You're like in the Mojave, but like you're there on vacation. You're not there like stranded.
You're in like Palm Springs, and it's like, oh, it's hot
Exactly.
outside, but this fucking swimming pool is lettuce.
You're Mad Maxing on vacation.
Yes.
Man, I got to give 2 thumbs up to whoever wrote the description for these Taco Bell items. It's pretty sweet. They're so good.
All right. I'm going to take you a bit on a journey for my recipe this week. I had one. I had it all planned out. I was fucking driving back from work today. I was like, this is hilarious. It's good. I've got a pun that works 2 different ways. And then I got back to my fucking computer and I looked it up and it was like, I fucked up this recipe. It didn't work the way that I thought it would. I'm going to let you in a little secret. The original recipe was chili from the great state of Ohio, Cincinnati chili, which I don't know if you're familiar with. It's chili made with pasta. It's weird. Yeah. But the reason I fucked it up is I got the 2 cities in Ohio mixed up between Cincinnati and Cleveland. And I was like, because I was like, Kleavor chili, Cleveland chili.
That would have been
funny.
Good. That would have been
good. I know it would have been good, but the fucking, it's from Cincinnati.
LeBron James's Kleavor chili.
Yes, exactly. I could have made so many great jokes about how Cleveland rocks, Kleavor rocks, Drew Carey. It would have been great. It would have been hilarious. But it's okay because, we're still moving to the fine city of Cleveland with our... I looked up what is the most kind of representative food item of Cleveland, and I got some interesting answers, and I went with one that I think is pretty good for this recipe. Cleveland has a lot of Polish immigrants, a lot of strong Polish history, and so this week we're making a Cleveland pierogi for our recipe this week.
Nice.
So Kleavor is going to cleave it up in Cleveland with our Kleavorogi. That's all I've got to say this week.
Kleavorogi. Sounds like Doogie Howser's sidekick.
But let me let the listeners in on a little secret. Is my family a strong history of Eastern European traditions, the Ukraine, Poland, all these places are a great influence. So my grandmother used to make a lot of pierogies as like a delightful recipe to share with us as a bringing back one from the old country kind of situation. So I'm a big fan of pierogies. Very delicious. You got your potato fucking dumplings with the pierogi and cheese kind of situation. So what we're gonna do with the pierogi is that we're gonna kind of use we've talked a little bit about like using the bug section of the Kleavor as kind of like a base in like a flour. And we're going to do that this week. And we're going to use the Kleavor, kind of like extraction as the flour in the Kleavorogi this week. So what you got is you're going to get your potatoes, you're going to get your Kleavor flour, your eggs, some butter, and just like a fucking giant helping of cheese. Like as much cheese as you can like physically get kind of situation. You're gonna get as much cheese as possible, like the giantest orangest block of fucking cheddar that you've ever seen in your goddamn life. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna shred that. And you might use the Kleavor or perhaps a Caesar to make it nice and palatable for your pierogi this week. So you're making like little dumplings. So you're gonna use you're gonna mix your potatoes and your cheese together so they're nice and smooth. And then you're going to get your flour, water, and butter, and you're going to turn that little dough, and you're going to make little delightful half moons. And I think we could maybe make them look a little bit like the axes of the Kleavor for this week's Pokemon kind of situation. Maybe like put a little like toothpick in the bottom to make them look like the kind of like got that chop and motion kind of situation. You're going to fill them with your cheese and potato mix. You're going to bake them in the oven for a little, not bake. I completely misspoke. You're gonna pan fry them until the cheese is delightfully melted and the dough is golden brown and delicious. And you're gonna serve those up from as like your side. And your grandmother, like mine, will say, "Why don't you call me more?" as they're serving you your Kleavorogi. But that's okay because they're so fucking good that you're like, man, I should call my grandma more. And that's my recipe this week.
We were talking a little bit about axe throwing earlier. I feel like this recipe would be best served at a similar establishment, but you're throwing pierogies at like into people's mouths. Like the person goes and stands where the target would be, and you just go mouth open, and then you get your little cleaver, your Kleavorogi, and you just whap, and then
yes, you just.
I love.
Look, we can make a little like board that we can throw our Kleavorogis at. Now, that's all I'm saying. Is like I think that would be like the healthy form of masculinity that we all need in this time, which is Throwing food at a wall.
I thought it was throwing food into each other's mouths, which
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're against the wall, and then
Okay.
you ask your friends to just
Okay. Can you be on like one of those rotating things that like spins you around?
yeah,
And you have to like aim for your mouth kind of situation?
yes,
yeah, that
Anyway.
builds community.
Yeah, community, relationships, that's what really matters today. And that's my recipe, Kleavor.
Oh man, I love a good
any-
fucking pierogi.
Yeah, they fucking rip, baby.
And you know what, Jeremy? I don't know if you intended
What?
this, but I like it even better that you mentioned making it like the axe, because the axe part of the Kleavor is like obsidian, like,
Yes.
right? And like the edge of the obsidian is always like crinkled. You know what I mean? It's like cut and like kind of, it almost looks like it was like, you know, crimped or something by a person's hand. Just like a freaking
yeah.
pierogi crimped by your loving grandmother's hands.
Yes.
So I love that. I feel like the imagery connects completely.
All right, excellent. So let's review our recipes this week. From Ben, we have Kleavor pizza. From Ian, we have Hatch at Kleavor mac and cheese. From Evan, I combined your two names together. Evan. From Evan, we have Kleavorogi, 5-layer burrito, and from me we have Kleavor. I said Kleavorogi twice. Kleavorita, is that
Kleavorito.
Kleavorito, 5-layer burrito, and for me we have Kleavorogi. Let's everyone vote on your recipes, and Ben will tell us who the winner mon is.
I surely will. Jeremy, you'll be pleased to know that you've won this week.
Oh, thank you, everybody.
Your Kleavorogis won us over. And Ian got a vote, and Evan got a vote.
Oh,
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for your support this week. I know it means a lot, especially in this campaign season. So I'll be carrying us on to the future of bug-based economies.
Got a level with you, Jeremy. Presentation 10 out of 10. The name was really, I couldn't get past it. Kleavorogi.
Cleveland.
No. Cleveland is funny. That is, if you had left it at that, probably would have had my vote. But
Cleveland.
what'd you do to my boy?
My boy! Kleavorogi won.
I abandoned my boy, but we didn't abandon our favorite section of the show, which is Whale Lord's Mail Horde. Psych, we did, because we don't have any recipes sent into I Choose Pod this week.
You know who abandoned it? The fans.
Yes, ichoosepod@gmail.com. Send in your recipes to that email address, and we'll read them on the show. ichoosepod@gmail.com. All right, let's pick next week's Pokemon in a section I like to call Pick-a-mon. Evan, can you give me a number between 810 and 905?
Yes. Let's see. Next week will be vamp. 811.
811. Now I
think we've already
believe.
done that
Okay,
before.
so we did. That's one of the starters, and we
Okay.
did Grookey already. So
How about 861?
861. I think that'll be good. 861 we did already as well.
849?
849. I believe this is a good. Okay, we haven't done this one. Next week's Pokemon is Toxtricity, the punk rock Pokemon.
Hell
Nice.
yeah. Nice.
From I Choose You. So send in your Toxtricity recipes to ichoosepod@gmail.com. That's ICHEWSPOD@gmail.com. All right, let's tell everybody where we can find each other on the internet in the plug section of the show. Let's start with Ben. Where can we find you?
You can find me on the old Twitter or social media, including Instagram at Ben C. Montoya, or you can find me on Tumblr at thefearandnow.tumblr.com. And if you're looking for more stuff to listen to right after this podcast, you could listen to Hang Up Season 2, which was very fun. Ian's representing the merch for that show that I work on. And yeah, check it out. It's always a good time. And yeah.
Excellent. Ian, where can we find you?
Follow me at Musician Davis on Instagram. I play bass.
Cool. Evan.
You can follow along as I make a movie at _Mesa Studio _. That's MESA Studio. I may have been off for a week, but I'm back at it.
Hell yeah.
Better than ever. And you can follow me at Velocity Prime 1 on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can follow me, Velocity Prime No 1 on Tumblr, and check out my writing at the-avocado.org. That's the-avocado.org. Jeremy Zelick. That's been our show this week. I Choose You, the podcast about cooking and eating Pokemon. You can find us on your favorite podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, and Spotify. If you like our show, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to help us go up the ranks. If you want more I Choose You goodness, check out our social media pages at I Choose Pod on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. If you want to be a part of the I Choose You community, join in the I Choose You Discord. Links are available in the episode description. The I Choose You Discord is where you can submit recipes, talk to fellow fans, and participate in community events. That's all in the I Choose You Discord. Head on over. Last but not least, check out our official website, ichooseyou.menu. ichooseyou.menu has a full episode archive and merch store. Head on over to ichooseyou.menu. And that wraps up the show for tonight. Thank you for listening. I've been your host and Alton Brown of the group, Jeremy Zelick.
Been your friend on this show, Ben Montoya.
Been your Paul Gleason, Ian Davis.
And Evan Aubrey.
And to all the choosies out there in Radio Land, in a while, tote it up.
I wanna be the greatest chef, like no one ever was. To cook them is my real test, to taste them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Each Pokemon to understand the flavor that's inside. I choose you, gotta cook 'em. It's you and me. Ben, Evan, and Jeremy. I choose you. Oh, we're your best friends. In this world we must digest. I choose you, gotta cook 'em. Our appetite will pull us through.